Hey, yo, we got mountains of evidence. We got video. We got pictures. We got concerts. We got discords. We got this. We got that. We got that. We got this. And it still leaves one question. Where is David?
I can't ever stop. I got way too much to gain before the box. I got way too much to gain up at the top. That piece lame, it don't compute.
What's the word, squad? And welcome back for another reaction. And we back with some more information surrounding this David case. It's strange, right? It's really strange. Probably more because we're not getting the information that we're looking for. But it's a lot of alleged evidence that's surfacing. Like I said, we got videos, we got all type of stuff. However, the whereabouts of this person, David, nowhere to be found, man. Today we got Trap Lord Ross giving us a little more insight on what to expect, I guess, going forward, man. Without further ado, man, let's get into it, man. Let's see what he's talking about on this joint.
So in this video, I want to take a closer look at some of the analysis that professional lawyers are providing on the David case. There's been a few lawyers, a few Redditors, a few people basically been speculating on as to actually what's going to happen with David. Why hasn't he been arrested yet? When he will be arrested, if he will be arrested, all of that good stuff. And we've had some really serious people kind of throw their hat into the ring.
Here's what I'll say ultimately, because I believe he's the prime suspect. He's the only suspect. If the evidence was to come out that this man was not guilty and he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and we all just pointing, right? That will be crazy.
Get there about this. So in this video, probably going to be a long one, I'm going to break down a bunch of these kind of lawyers, private investigators, all those types of people that have given their thoughts on the case. So yeah, let's get into all of that now. So this is a post that's currently going around on Reddit. Okay, it says it's possible we won't get any updates for at least 6 weeks. The investigation at David's former Hollywood home was concluded. His Tesla was released back to the impound lot and Celeste was released back to her family already, indicating that the autopsy was completed. The body was in such a severe state of decomposition, then likely not able to determine the manner of the death. So this case is still not officially ruled a homicide. It's likely they're waiting for toxicology to come back for more answers, which could take 6 to 12 weeks.
This is getting ridiculous to me, right? In my opinion, this is getting ridiculous, man. Like, it seems like it feel like it's taking too long, no?
Obviously, she didn't put herself in the trunk, but let's keep in mind it is possible that her death might have been the result of an overdose, natural causes, or suicide. I think natural causes is definitely a reach for somebody so young. But it's saying people don't recognize how long police and forensic science takes. I say at the very least by the end of the year we should have an arrest, but these tests take...
Come on, end of the year. These are Reddit comments. We going off a Reddit comments on online detectives, right? None of these things are facts. But come on, end of the year arrest. How long? Y'all let me know. Any forensic scientists out there? Let me know how long it usually takes for some kind of investigation to conclude where we could like deal with this. Cause I don't know.
Take time. Then once the test is done, you have to process and interpret the results, which is also a long process. People are saying they're going to have so much to prove. I'm not an expert, but drugs could really complicate everything, right? If she's found with enough drugs, they could pull a she overdosed, I freaked out and hid her because people would think I did it or something else, which would confirm rumors about him being an underage person. Not to mention, they would have to prove that he was involved in PDF stuff with her and not just harboring a runaway. But they're saying that somebody... in a YouTube comment, it said there's rumors Celeste's family were blackmailing David for money by threatening to go to the cops for harm.
So I've seen this circulating online. I've seen this idea that Celeste family were receiving some kind of payment from David. And Lord knows I hope that ain't true. I hope that ain't true, because that will make this case 10 times worse.
Celeste being in a relationship with her and that he was paying them hush money. I guarantee she OD'd, and dude panicked about having a dead kid in his house, but in any case, a dead body was found dismembered in his vehicle. The dude needs to be in jail. But some people are saying, I actually saw on the news article it was being investigated as a homicide.
You know, my fault. I see where he at. Let me go, because last time I covered him up. And I ain't mean to do that, yo. So I'm gonna move myself this time, y'all. Let me.
Cause of death couldn't have been from an overdose, natural causes, or suicide. Somebody obviously did this to her. Okay, so everybody's speculating on that, and there's been another post going around that basically says the case is being solved. It's just being done so in silence and slowly.
So I believe that too. I definitely believe that the case is progressing. You know, investigators always doing their job in the sense where it's like we don't see what's going on behind the scenes. So a lot of this is probably getting taken care of behind the scenes, and they're not putting out the information because of the whole lore surrounding this case. So they're probably not putting out that information to add fuel to the fire, convoluting information. Now everything get mixed up, boom boom, like it already is. So yeah, I believe that they definitely doing their job, but I want justice for Celeste. I mean, that's simple as that shit.
Okay, this case is silently getting solved. I find this case very similar to the Idaho murder of college students. Everyone was making up theories and getting mad how nothing was being solved. Meanwhile, everything was actually getting solved silently. How did that Tesla come here? From where, or at least from which direction? When was it parked? What was the weapon? Hair, fingerprints. I bet there was many hairs and fingerprints considering how slow and lazy they were at getting rid of Celeste's body. It's all getting solved. In fact, officers might be as aware as us that David is the murderer, but they're just watching him silently to spot any mistakes that he might make.
Which is ridiculous. That's, to me, that's stupid. And again, this is my opinion. I'm not an investigator. I'm not a police officer. I'm not none of that. But it's like, if you have a killer or a suspect, right, whatever, suspect of a crime, why would you silently sit back and watch him to gain more evidence so he could catch another body? That don't make sense. So
just because it's not being disclosed to the public, thankfully, does not mean that it's not getting solved. Any information made public can potentially damage the case, as David and his lawyers might try and get rid of evidence or create his side of the story easily. People are saying the fact that this even has to be stated should be a reminder that most people on the internet are teenagers or idiots. Okay? Basically, people are saying it's going to be months before we know what happened. I hope you guys know this. We're probably not going to hear about his arrest or anything until November at the earliest. People saying that's if he's even still alive at that point. A lot of you don't know what cooperating with the investigation means. It means being subject to monitoring and all kinds of stipulations. It doesn't mean that he's free to do whatever he wants. He's probably being monitored as we speak. People saying it's true. It's very easy to bring people in on suspicion of, etc., but sometimes it's a strategic decision to let the suspects stay out and watch what they do. Phones are probably tapped, and they absolutely have 24-hour physical surveillance on him. Likely there is a flag on his passport. He might have even had to turn that in as an example of cooperation. In other cases, letting a person stay free for a little while has resulted in catching them disposing of more evidence or engaging in a cover-up with others. People are saying you're right, but the reaction of the public on social media of trying to investigate by themselves is understandable. I'm not saying it's the best thing to do right now, but it's a common reaction. People are curious and just want justice for the child. We probably will receive answers from the LAPD in some weeks. Until then, nobody controls the speculation about it. But people are saying exactly no press conference or nothing. That's why the reaction is the way it is. Yeah, because it's related to someone famous. They could at least do a press conference to say we're investigating, please calm down, or whatever. People saying, agreed. I was recently watching a new special on the Idaho case, and an expert, former FBI maybe, I forget now, said that law enforcement only engage with the public if they don't have leads or evidence, not least because input from the public means spending resources on sifting through a lot of bad information. Not hearing means that they have plenty to go on and don't need the public's help, as was the case with the Idaho.
That's a good, John. That's a good mental note to make. Not hearing means they have plenty to go on and don't need the public's help. So again, this goes back to when we was talking about how they're dealing with the matters of the case. Is probably more internal. So we'll see.
Idaho case, as you noted. Everyone needs to look at the toll that those years of abuse took on the surviving victims of the Idaho 4 case. They were re-traumatized probably countless times. One roommate was trembling and barely able to speak when she gave her victim statement, half of which was about the public abuse that she endured. I hate to think that the same thing could happen to Celeste's family, or anyone really. There's a family out there somewhere seeing their dead son's face shared around with accusations that he's a PDF, just because he happened to have the right nickname and died in their hometown. No one has any idea if that's the Gus mentioned in relation to Celeste's past. Okay, people saying, yep, well said. People expect a play-by-play from the LAPD, but that's not going to happen. Anything crucial to the case that's released to the public can interfere with witness testimonies and then being admissible in court. If everyone knows it's not a witness testimony, if we have this much in the public, the private evidence is most likely exponential and a hefty workload. Solid indictments take time.
Do they? Do they take time? Or do they take time when y'all want them to take time? I mean, let's be real. I believe that this could be expedited to some degree. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like y'all dragging your feet. Right. And that's just because the information ain't available. It's just because the information ain't available. So I don't really listen. At the end of the day, catch that man. Catch that man. Find answers. Relieve their parents. And that's it. That's it, squad.
And then the next comment says, oh, I don't think there's any doubt that it's getting solved. That's a treasure trove of evidence.
Dragged out.
We internet people can already see a lot of it. So just imagine what the police have. Electronics, chat logs, testimonies, pictures, CCTV footage, Tesla info. It's done. There's really no rush. But then people are clapping back. They're saying, I think what a lot of people really need to realize is that right now, there is zero solid evidence that David is responsible for any type of murder.
And that's the caveat. So that's the caveat that I don't like about this. I don't like it, and it make me think about even like just being so stern on saying, "Oh, you did it." We pointing the finger at him. Well, that's because we found the body in your car. Yeah, and you was having a inappropriate relationship with this young lady, and there's a historical timeline that shows y'all together. So it's concerning, and that's why I'm blaming him. I can't speak for nobody else. I'm blaming him 100%. I think it was him. The evidence have to prove me wrong. The LAPD has to prove me wrong and be like, no, it wasn't him. But until then, you're guilty.
Definitely responsible for the R word and PDF document, probably harboring a runaway child, but technically they can't arrest him without 100% solid evidence that he murdered her. And people saying, I'm pretty sure there's solid evidence we haven't.
I understand that now. There's no direct evidence connecting him, and I get that. And I don't like it.
Seen by now, people saying if there was solid evidence of him murdering her, he would be arrested by now. So yeah, people are debating whether or not it's by now.
Don't skip past that comment now. So why haven't they arrested him for being A and add on the murder charge later if that's the case? So they're treating him like the Idaho murderers and solving this silently. They want to be sure to get everything right since this is a high profile case. It is a high profile. Teslas have cameras on every side. Yeah, so they got evidence. They definitely have evidence. Okay, so that's real interesting though. They do have evidence that he was having this type of inappropriate relationship. So maybe they could get him on that and hold him until they gather evidence. That's a good job.
So yeah, people are debating whether or not it's other crimes. This is interesting. As a former investigator and patrol officer in Europe and USA, this post is it. Police are smart and handling it professionally, keeping cards close to their chest. If you hand everything out to the media, the suspect will likely form a narrative in his head that him and his lawyers will try and pursue, and potential evidence from getting destroyed. The list goes on. While I understand the publicity, interest, and fascination with true crime we all have, You got to understand that at the end of the day, the parents of Celeste and the system failed her. She was never supposed to be anywhere near that creep. Now family and friends are grieving over the loss of somebody whose life was taken away too soon.
Now let's keep it a buck, right? It's so easy to blame the parents, but we don't know the parents. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Man, public opinion is a motherfucker, yo. Public opinion is a mug, yo. Nobody knows what her situation is in her home, and they question like, oh, well, why was she running away? She wasn't happy in her home for some reason, so she was running away. So yeah, that's a thing that could have possibly happened. Or she could have just been a rebellious teen who didn't listen to her mother, who was trying to provide that safety and protection, right? So there is, some different options here that things could have happened in that regard. If it comes out that her parents was taking bribe money though, yeah, go lock their ass up too, because that's diabolical, man. Ain't no way you about to be selling, because that's what it would have been if you did that. You sold them off. You sold her off.
Would also like for people to cool down a bit and not make insane speculations about this case further. A family is grieving, a child is dead, and a loser is on the loose. Let the police do their thing. So yeah, this is interesting. Okay, it says, of course it is. Everyone in the Hollywood Hills has cameras. They will know the last time she entered the house and or the first time she entered the front between cameras, Tesla data and cell phone data, because he could make bail. The charges have to be ironclad. It will be difficult to prove a case beyond reasonable doubt when they can't determine manner of death nor how long she's been dead. And with his alibi that he was on tour, everything needs to be specific. Hopefully there will be no jury and only a judge to determine guilt, since some jurors are idiots and don't believe in science. Casey Anthony case is a great example of this. This is saying that this is a snippet from some of the news reporting yesterday. When asked about it during an on-set interview with ABC 7's Philip Palmer Wednesday, LAPD Chief Jim McDonald said he couldn't share much about the ongoing investigation. They said, we have a lot of resources dedicated to bringing it to a conclusion, but to go beyond what already has been made public would be inappropriate. So the cops are saying, listen, we got a lot that we're getting through, all right? And yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of it eventually, basically. But one of my favorite YouTube channels that I've been watching for years, okay, has finally done an update, okay? Criminal Lawyer Reacts, CLR Bruce Rivers, okay? He has done an exceptional update on the story. He's dug deep into things, and I've been waiting to watch this. I've been waiting for his reaction. A very incredible, genuine criminal lawyer who's practicing law actively. And he gives his opinion on a whole lot of cases, a lot of drill music, a lot of gangster rap that I've covered on this channel previously.
Bruce
and
Rivers.
He always brings an excellent perspective, an excellent breakdown. Very, very.
All right.
Her trunk that smelled like a dead body, but there wasn't enough evidence to link her to the killing. And so until they've got something, they have to have probable cause in order to arrest him. But more than that, in order to bring a case, even though you only need probable cause to charge somebody, a prosecutor has an ethical obligation to not bring a case that he doesn't think he can win beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the standard for a jury. It might seem like a great idea. I'm going to go with this rapper, but guess what you are? First of all, you're a teenager. You don't have any independent means of support. You don't have your own credit card. You don't have your own job. You don't have your own set of wheels. You don't have your own.
So this is the problem. Listen to the things that this man is naming. This is why it's older guys with a more mature brain who understands how to probably try to live in society. An 11, 12, 13-year-old ain't thinking about that stuff, man. That's why we say their brains ain't developed to a certain degree where you shouldn't be dealing with them in no capacity. In terms of like intimacy, anything in that degree, you shouldn't even be, none of that should be going on. None of it, because they aren't mentally, socially aware, developed, and it's putting them at a disadvantage. You are manipulating them. Everything about that is bad. Like, the fuck?
Own anything. And guess what that makes you? That makes you controllable.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And it's going.
Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board certified criminal defense lawyer, here to give you the news. Today we're reacting to David, and David's in some.
It's not opened into social media with the gangster rap, the drill music, all of these big cases, the murder of Fulio, you know, stuff surrounding King Von, Lil Durk, all of that stuff. He's old.
Everybody's got to be different, right? So David, he's a 20-year-old, born in Queens, raised in Houston. He's started his career as a gamer. How do you start your career playing video games? This is a different world than I grew up in. He played Fortnite and would edit his highlights for you. Oh, look at this is what happened on Fortnite. Who the fuck watches it? I guess people do watch this stuff. Homeless Nick just raised his hand. So let's just take a look at this interview. He's a rapper, songwriter, that kind of thing.
Fast forward like a month or two, I'm making a lot of money. My mom's like, okay, maybe the game's not rotting your brain. I started getting copyright strikes left and right from UMG, and I'm like, what in the world is UMG? I don't know what UMG is. Yeah. So I'm not making any money now. I got the red money sign on all my videos, and I'm like crying to my mom about it. I'm like, yo, I don't know what to do. I'm not making any money anymore, blah, blah, blah. And she was like on the phone or something. She was like, just make your own music. Go, get out of my face. Make your own music. I was like, wait a minute. I could probably do that.
And you never did it before in your life?
Never.
So that's who he is. Started out as a gamer. His SoundCloud was gaining attention, but he blew up after posting his song "Romantic Homicide," which is, you know, now this "Romantic Homicide" song came out before, so ostensibly before he had some interactions with this Celeste. So Celeste is a young lady who was found in his trunk of his Tesla, after it was towed into a tow lot, and the car started smelling really bad. So the people at the tow lot, you know, tow truck drivers don't smell the greatest to begin with. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. And for them to call the cops because there was a foul odor coming from the car, it's got to be bad. And if you remember Casey Anthony's case,
there's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the car.
There wasn't even a body in that truck, and her mother smelled the remains. So when a body decomposes, it's really insane. But let's just take a look at this thing that went viral on TikTok.
I can't lie, this is going to sound really morbid. I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but I've always wondered what a dead body smells like. I mean, I've had, you know, I've thrown some.
So, squad, listen. Let me put you on game. Anytime someone prees you for their statement they about to make, like, oh, I don't mean to be racist, or I don't mean to sound morbid, or I don't mean to be an asshole. Whatever they're about to say next usually falls in line with that statement, right? A disclaimer. They're trying to put out a disclaimer before they say, you know, what's socially unacceptable, or whatever the case may be. But you got to be careful with some people like that. I'm just saying, because motherfuckers you got to be careful with people like that. Oh, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but yes, you are. Get away from me.
Some expired steak into the bottom of the trash, and maybe 2 days later that trash bin is smelling awful. I don't know if that's what a dead body would smell like, some rotten steak or some rotten meat, but like I've never smelled a dead body, but every account that I've heard is that it smells god awful. It smells worse than rotten meat. Worse, like good. It is just another level
I don't want to smell
of just
that.
Disgusting smell. And that really just makes you wonder. I mean, Bruce made a really funny joke there of just like, yeah, tow truck guys, they already smell bad to begin with. So if they're smelling the body in the car, that must be crazy. It must be super pungent. But like, it just does make you wonder. I wonder whether people don't even realize that. I mean, look, I don't know what a dead body smells like. I only know from having covered legal cases, having heard, you know, in court documents and things in crime shows about how bad a body can smell. But I imagine a lot of people, maybe they get into murder scenarios and they don't realize they're trying to, you know, hiding the body in the trunk of the Tesla. Maybe they don't realize just how like disgusting and pungent that's going to be eventually when the body actually begins to rot. You know, it's basically like you keeping a bunch of loose meat, I guess, a loose expired meat in a bag that's not airtight. No wonder it got discovered. But anyway, let's keep going.
In rap lyric, so dark. And one of the things that we find in rap lyrics, especially drill, and this is not necessarily drill, but they tend to talk about real events. And then law enforcement told me that the remains were not intact and that the girl had been dead for an extended period of time. In December 2023, so I'm not sure what the timing is of the relationship between Celeste Riva and David, but in December 2023, he writes a song called Celeste. And so this is what it's like to not need weed to get me high. I love it when you told me when you cry. Just because, be my Valentine. I want to make Cupid suicidal. These are the kind of thoughts that cross my mind. Just because. So writing a song about her would definitely be part of a trial if he's ever charged. Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Oh, Celeste. Afraid you...
This can't be any more damning for him. I don't like, for now, we're going to scratch out the idea of homicide. We know that this guy is a PDF. He wrote a song. You're sick. Go to jail. Stay there. Simple.
You'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. I miss you so much, makes me depressed, but I digress because I love you so much, baby. Anytime you have a situation where somebody is unnaturally found, which is what we have here, the first person of interest is who? The last person to see them, right? And the last person most likely is the person that owned the car in which she's residing.
That's what I thought.
She's just so 13 years old, goes missing from your house for over a year. Wouldn't you just go fucking apeshit if you were the parent? You know, I mean, that's why you got to keep your kids close.
The body found inside the trunk of an abandoned Tesla registered to the singer David has been identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. The teen was reported a runaway and missing out of Lake Elsinore nearly a year and a half ago. Tonight, a house close to where that Tesla...
How bad, if you're a teen, does it have to get for you at 13 years old to leave your home?
And Mark, those CSI investigators literally just left the scene about 10, 15 minutes ago. The police tape finally came off and we were able to come a little bit closer to this house. Now, we don't know at this point what exactly those detectives were looking for, what they got out of that house. We saw them pull evidence and put it into an SUV, essentially where I'm standing right now. We don't even know why they were here in the first place, but this house just happens to be literally feet away from where that Tesla was found. A dozen LAPD investigators took a computer.
So guess what happens? You know, there's door ring cams, there's, traffic cams, there's all kinds of digital surveillance and digital footprints and just a whole web of digital information that you seek on to figure out, okay, where do we go from here? And it's so much easier than it used to be. You used to have to pound the pavement. Now you just get behind a keyboard and you figure out where was David's last known cell service? Where was he 5 days ago? Track his movements. Why is his car abandoned? And why was it abandoned by this house? You take computers, you take phones, you take tablets, you take iPads, and you create a picture of where, when, and how people moved around.
Computer and other items from this Hollywood home.
I think it's interesting that he's talking about this, right, in the midst of the fact that we've just found out, if you saw my last video, that random Redditors are turning up to this property and actually like skulking around, looking in the gutters, looking in the drains, and finding an alleged key to a Tesla. That's definitely not to put down the police, but it just goes to show you, like, there's so much evidence littering this scene, littering this situation.
That's the problem. There's too much going on. This is being dragged out. If I'm an investigator, yes, I'm doing internal investigations, but I'm trying to get this done ASAP. I'm trying to get this done, and I'm trying to get this case closed. We not about to drag this out. I'm on everybody's head. Autopsy. Where's the autopsy? Okay. Last known whereabouts. Okay. Cell towers. We connecting here. You take that red yawn. You draw it over there. You connect that there. Bring it down. Draw it over here. Okay. I need a CERT team. Whoever you are. Yes, you grab your badge. Grab your shield. Grab your gun. Go round up 17 people. Go here. That was his last location. You take him over there. Then you go there. Grab his mom, his dad. You bring him in for interrogation. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
Digital evidence, physical evidence, that it's really overwhelming. I mean, it's possible that Tesla key is, inconsequential, is not really going to make a difference when it comes to the prosecution. I think the most damning thing is probably going to be Discord logs, probably private. That could have
been any Tesla key.
iMessage conversations between David and Celeste, and really any data from that Tesla. But anything else they find is obviously going to be a big deal.
Home just a block away from where an abandoned Tesla was found with a dead teenager in the trunk. Police spent hours at the home on Dehaney Place, placing several evidence bags into an SUV, but they wouldn't say if or how it was connected to the Tesla. Several homeowners say they remember seeing that distinct Tesla for a while. First parked in front of the house, police searched today, then at 2 different spots on the street.
It's a little weird to see a car that I haven't seen here for a long time. Had a big dent on it, had a Texas plate on it. So all a little odd, but at the same time, people could be hanging out with friends for, for a long time.
That abandoned Tesla was towed earlier this month, and workers at a Hollywood tow yard noticed a foul odor and found decomposed human remains wrapped in a garbage bag inside the car.
So the wrapping of the body and putting it in the trunk is, very deliberate act. It's not like you slipped, you hit your head, you died, and now you're on the bathroom floor and you call the cops like that. This is covering up a homicide.
We now know the young woman found dead was 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, according to the medical examiner, the same teen who was reported missing from Lake Elsinore last year. At a corner store in town, the owner recalled her coming in often.
She always quiet, nice. She come in like, if she buy like a chips, soda, and leave. Sometimes she come with a friend from the neighborhood.
Eyewitness News has learned Rivas had run away from home a few times. She was last reported missing in spring of 2024.
So teens generally run away when one of two things happen. Either they're little shits and they don't want to fucking listen, or it's so bad at home that they just can't take the abuse anymore.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. You have confirmed what I've been saying this whole time. There's only two situations that will make a child want to leave their home. It's either abuse or they just don't fucking listen. And unfortunately, both scenarios will put them in ultimate danger, and I hate that for them, man.
And both can be true at the same time as well. You could be a little shit and, being suffering from abuse. And a lot of times drugs plays a part in it as well.
School's back and so are the savings at Kia of Westchester. With hundreds of vehicles in stock, there's no better time to...
So he's just picking that up on his own, analysis. That there are two reasons that people run away from home. One is that they're just so out of control, you can't control them, you can't keep them at home, and the other is that they might have a very turbulent home life, and that's what a lot of people have been saying about Celeste. I think it will be really interesting when we get some more information about what her family home might have been like. I think we've just heard recently that apparently her father doesn't live in the United States anymore. The mother can't really speak much English, and it seems like it's aunties and cousins and brothers and sort of maybe the younger or more westernized isn't the word, but and no disrespect, but the more English-speaking, more culturally integrated members of her family that were doing the posts on Facebook in English and, reaching out to people and responding to people on Instagram and things like that, that were really trying to actually look for her and get busy and do things. And, there's been speculation that the mother might have been undocumented and didn't want to go to the police out of fear of being ejected from the country. But, right now that's still just speculation. But I think it's interesting that he picked up on that. He's not read any of the crazy Reddit analysis that is hating on the family like we have, but even just based on his history of being a criminal lawyer and missing persons situations, those are the two reasons that people do tend to go missing, kids running away from home.
Hey, let me see where we getting at, because
as you were talking about wanting to be with your mom and your sister again, take me where I belong, but our circumstance.
And then she basically came onto Discord.
My heart goes out for this family. From a user called out David for dating a missing girl. You weren't given any proof, so that's all I'm going to think. And here's another conversation from Discord.
She was trying to go back to her family, and David would not let her.
Oh wow. Okay.
We have been.
Who is this, and why is this? When they start coming up on these damn chats, man, it's too much information now. Now it's hard to oh man, we don't know what's real or not.
And calling and trying to make reports on this since 2023, and we kept getting brushed off. Like,
do you know how frustrating it is to report something to the cops and they can't do anything or won't do anything about it?
Me and the two other people on the server, which have been trying.
You've been trying to go to the police.
We've been trying to go to the police. We've been brushed off.
Who are you? Why do you give a shit? I'm sure she'll turn up. That's what you get. You get the blow off.
Yeah, it's always the fucking cops doing some bullshit.
The main reason why they wouldn't do anything is because us who reported it, we live out of state, and then the moderators of the server, they all knew her age. They all knew exactly what was going down, and every time we went to say something about it and say that it was wrong and that David was going to catch a case, but she's also in danger, we got muted. I got muted for a month straight.
So I really wouldn't be surprised if this is not a one-off thing. He's probably,
this is mental.
Other younger underage girls, before her.
Yeah, because from what she told me is that half of them are older and half of them are young in there.
Wow.
And they met each other when they were playing Fortnite and stuff.
So typical, if I can't have you, no one's gonna have you.
Like Celeste and David, they were playing Fortnite, and then she basically came onto Discord.
My heart goes out for this family. From David's alternative TikTok, let's see what this has to say.
So this is the clip of him cleaning a pair of Jordan 4s that apparently belong to Celeste.
That's a crazy video.
Oh my God, I can't listen to his music anymore. It just sounds so depressing. So here's Celeste's teacher.
That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here.
Okay, hold up. I got another one because I got a picture on TMZ of this other kid exchanging stuff with the rapper who we alleged did this stuff. Hold on a second, because he's also.
So this clip has been played a lot before. I've played it a couple of times, but to be honest, I actually find this video really uncomfortable because I feel like he seems almost gleeful to be explaining this. As he's almost talking about this like a bit of a clout chasery way of like, this my student. Look at the picture.
Like a great idea. You know, I'm going to go with this rapper. But guess
No, I don't get that. I think he's just explaining it to the kids. Like, this is real. This is what happened. And this is why I'm showing it to y'all, because this is y'all peer. It could have been you. Be careful out here. I think that's what it was, but you know.
First of all, you're a teenager. You don't have any independent means of support. You don't have your own credit card. You don't have your own job. You don't have your own set of wheels. You don't have your own anything. And guess what that makes?
All you want, but it's like, bruh, what was that teacher? What are you doing? What was going on? What were you all?
You know, you look at his music and the theme of his music, it's so fucking dark. We've got a relationship established. Even the teacher knew that she was dating this guy. And mom said she was dating somebody named David. And she's on Discord with him. Even she says, young kids, they're going to definitely dive into electronics, because you saw they took a computer and I'm sure any other electronics out of that home. It's interesting because if there's a connection with that home, and there might be some Ring camera footage of her either going into that home or whatever, you know, that is why, you know, I mean, where was she found? Well, she was in the trunk of that car a block away from that house, or very, very close to that house. And the way they probably got to that house is they just backtrack, you know, and they go, hey, I need to look at your Ring camera. I need to look at your Ring camera, you know, all the way up and along to where the car was. And that's probably how they got to that house. So these cops are going to do their work, and it's going to ultimately lead them to somebody. There's likely no direct evidence. There's no video of it. There's no eyewitness, but there's going to be a lot of circumstantial evidence. There will be communication between the two. There will be other people that may have seen some or know of situations that might give a reason why this might have happened. And then they're going to show that, you know, whoever the killer was in close contact with her at the time of her supposed death. So you back all that up, and all of a sudden it creates a picture, and that is.
Hey man, you know what? This is really, really unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that all this information is still only speculation. They done went to this man's house. I know they have a shit ton of evidence that they ciphering through. Ultimately, I hope this young lady is able to get justice for this whole situation. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. I don't understand, because if it was up to me, I'm kicking down doors. I'm doing traffic stops. I'm holding up expressways. Yeah, I'm doing all that. It's like, no, I'm joking, of course. But yeah, man, I do want to see the resolution to this case, man. I will be dropping another video once we get some more updates. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. I love to hear your opinions. This is crazy, man, but yeah, we're gonna leave it there, squad. All right, so until next time, peace.
I can't ever stop. I got way too much to gain before the box. I got way too much to gain up at the top. That piece shit lame, it don't compute. I'm chasing.